focusing on the symmetrical family. The symmetrical family is a concept devised by Michael Young and Peter Willmott. They were writing in the 1950s and 70s after their investigation into the domestic division of labour within families. They identified 4 stages that families had gone through. 1, the pre-industrial stage, where the family is a unit of production with the husband and the wife and unmarried children working as a team together. The second stage was the early industrial family. This began with the Industrial Revolution. As family members became employed in mills, mines and factories, they operated as a unit of production and started to segregate conjugal roles due to men being more likely to be employed outside of the house and women therefore being required to step in and take the role of housekeeper/child rearer. However, there is a constant exchange of services such as washing, shopping and babysitting between the female relatives, given that lots of these communities lived in small communities with lots of their family members very readily accessible. So the stage 2 family was typified by its segregated conjugal roles. Stage 3 is the symmetrical family. Wilmott and Young found that compared to the segregated roles of stage 2, life was largely home-centred, with leisure time being spent in the home, for example watching television. The husband and wife had joint roles, increasingly sharing the chores around the house. A symmetrical family, therefore, is a nuclear family where there are similar roles for both men and women in terms of housework, decision-making and economic work. They argued that this move towards the symmetrical family had happened as a result of improved living standards, improved geographical mobility, the reduction in number of children that families were having, the commercialisation of housework, and the improved status of women. Wilmott and Young argued that this symmetrical family was becoming the norm and that we were seeing a move towards joint conjugal roles rather than the traditional segregated conjugal roles which we had seen previously. Following on from stage 3, the symmetrical family, we have stage 4, the principle of stratified diffusion. Now, Young and Willmott claim that the principle of stratified diffusion accounts for much of the change in family life. They argue that over time, whatever the top of the stratification system does, the bottom will eventually do too. Upper and middle class lifestyles, patterns of consumption, attitudes and expectations often become the dominant mode of expression, including within some working class communities. So they applied this principle of stratified diffusion and they examined family life of managing directors, who were obviously at the top end of the social stratification system, but they were very work-centred and their leisure activities were far less home-centred, and they were much less likely to involve their wives in their social life. This family was likely to be less symmetrical and have more segregated conjugal roles. Wilmott and Young controversially predicted that this asymmetry would continue and it would represent the next major development as changes in technology and the reduction in routine work result in the stage 4 family becoming more common throughout the stratification system. So in summary, Young and Willmott identified 4 different stages of the family: the pre-industrial, the early industrial, the symmetrical, and the principle of stratified diffusion, stage 4 family. As the family developed, the structure changed with the differences in roles of men and women within the family, a shift from the segregated conjugal roles to the joint conjugal roles of the symmetrical family, and then they predicted a move away from those joint conjugal roles and a return to the segregated conjugal roles. Young and Willmott also claim that the principle of stratified diffusion accounts for much of the change in family life. And that is Wilmott and Young talking about the symmetrical family and stratified diffusion.